And that is exactly the type of feeling every South African football fan should be having after seeing 3 South African clubs qualifying for the semi-finals. Zamalek were defeated by Stellis, and Stellis will now be facing Simba in the semi-finals of Confederations Cup. Mamelodi Sundowns managing to overcome the Giants of Tunisia Esperance, winning that tie 1-0 on aggregate after a 0-0 draw. And Orlando Pirates ezimnyama zikaMakebula in Orlando Stadium, right at the heart of Soweto, also getting into the semi-final after a 1-0 aggregate, drawing 0-0 at home. What a feeling to have as a South African. The under-17s have also qualified for the World Cup towards the end of 2025. Banyana are doing well. I mean, if you are a Bafana coach and you've got this eagle's eye view of looking everything from the top, you are like, you know what, you got so many options. You've got so many options from a Stellenbosch. You've got a Bafana International in a left back, a Fawaz Basadin Moloisa Tabo, that is a centre back. At Stellis, you've got a Stevens, a goalkeeper, as an option for you if a Chain, if a Williams are not available. You've got pacey wingers or attacking players in a Palace, in a Titus. I mean, as a Bafana coach, you're not just limited to Orlando Pirates and a Mamelodi Sundowns. What a feeling for a Khiba who was just sold from a TS Galaxy. Now is going to play a CAF Confederations Cup semi-final. I can tell you this, they have a very big chance of getting into the finals of CAF Confederations Cup. That is the Steve Barker led wine side. Oh, what a feeling. Yes, I do go by the name of Oscar, and since the football we engage and discuss on anything to do with football from Africa to the world and from the world to Africa. CAF Champions League. We have 2 South African giants, Mamelodi Sundowns and Orlando Pirates, facing 2 giants of Egyptian football. Numbers do not lie. In South Africa, the Betway Premiership, the one who's leading the flock at the moment is Mamelodi Sundowns, followed, you guessed it right, by Orlando Pirates. In Egypt, it is Pyramid FC leading that lock, followed by who? You guessed it right, Ahly, the club of the century, the defending champions of CAF Champions League, the defending champions of Egyptian Premier League. So numbers do not lie. So these 4 clubs are there, not by chance, not by luck. They deserve to be there. I was actually asking myself a question, that how did MC Alger get there? These are like thieves in the night. How did they get there? I watched 2 of their games in the group where they were with Al Hilal of Sudan, where they were with the young Africans of Tanzania. And I was like, you know what? This actually shows everyone that if you want to win CAF Champions League, you don't necessarily have to play attractive, beautiful football. You just master moments and you'll get yourself over the line. Unfortunately for them, they were facing a South African club that has also been in this CAF Champions League run, or historically Orlando Pirates have played big games in CAF Champions League, and it was just unfortunate that for MC Alger it was going to be their last stop, and I don't think that they did anything to deserve to to go into the semi-finals. Miguel Cardoso, Mamelodi Sundowns led side. Ooh, Lulu, what a match. What a game. Now, let me just quickly get the Confed guys out of the way. Congratulations to Fadlu Davids, a South African coach leading the Giants of Tanzanian football. He is competing for the league, NBC in Tanzania. He's now also into the semi-finals of Confed. This is after they overturned the 2-0 deficit against an Egyptian side, winning at home 2-0. Benjamin Mkapa was bouncing, winning this tie 4-1 on penalties. Congratulations to you, sir. And fortunately and unfortunately, you'll be facing a South African club led by a Steve Barker, who on their side, they've done well as well. I mean, you go to Cairo to face a Zamalek, and you play, a 4-4-1-1 system, or maybe without the ball, it looks like a 4-5-1. But if you look at the profile of players that are on the system, you're like, on that midfield four, it's a Khiba and it's a Ndluli, Sihle Ndluli. And the left and right, on the right, you've got Palace, pace. You've got a pace of Titus B, but these are players that have been drilled over time by Bach and the technical team. They know how to be behind the ball, but what they are very good at and dangerous on is playing on transition. Titus, Palace, and then that 1-1 or 2 in front, it's a De Jong, a very intelligent player, underrated, with a Chupido as their number 9. His hold-up play is very good. I mean, Chupido was just not too long ago playing for a side who are now fighting for relegation in Mvela, first division of South African football. He played for a side that was relegated past season, but now he's going into the semi-final. Oh, football can be unfair to others, while for others it can really look like a lottery ticket. So that's the stage, the wine boys, how they actually managed to suffocate Zamalek, the Egyptian giants, and now they are out. Now they are fans. They demand the management to sack, I think it's a Mexican now, it's a Pereiros. I think it's the same guy not too long ago who was coaching the Super Eagles. I think it's time that even those North Africans trust their own. They need to trust their own and employ their own as coaches. These fly-by-night coaches who failed in their own countries, whether they're coming from Europe or South America, it's time overlook them and use their own people, because North Africans, for the longest time, I mean, what they master is playing on transition, counter attacks, and try by all means to leverage on all the set pieces they have, and that's what they were subjected to against a Stellis side, who it was a Lisibonku who was started on the bench, introduced, and he was the one who assisted that beautiful goal by Undluli. And not a familiar face on a scoring sheet, but an important goal. Now they'll be facing Simba SC in that semi-finals. Congratulations to all of these coaches and South African clubs. Now let's go to the big two. Orlando Pirates. Orlando Pirates in the first leg of this fixture, winning it 0-1 in a very hostile environment, but they managed to defeat MC Alger, who honestly were never a match, guys. We saw him from the very first game that creatively they rely more on individual brilliance. I mean, that locked striker was so suffocated in the second leg, and the first half, I mean, he was very, very active. And the second leg of this fixture, Orlando Pirates were just willing, to hoof the ball up when they were defending, and give the ball to MC Alger, who funny enough, almost appeared clueless as to what to do with the ball, because they could not attack come centrally or vertically to attack Orlando Pirates. Pirates started with what looked like on paper like a 3-4-3, Bogas, Kogi, Sibisi, and then you had a Hoto, Van Rooyen, a Mbata, and a Makaula, front three of Mahopa with the two Cocomelons, Mfukeng and Nkota. Without the ball, we went back to a 5-3-1 because Nkota would tuck in, leaving Mfukeng and Mahopa as the outlets. I think Orlando Pirates did fairly well. I was at the game, and to be honest, it was a boring game. But that's what you have with the CAF Champions League games. You don't have to play attractive, fancy football. All you need is a result. And this is now I really understand what Gavin Hardward said, that it is not that difficult to win CAF Champions League. You just have to master moments and leverage on your set pieces, defend well. If you defend well, get that one chance, that one moment, you bury it, you're through. And that's how Al Ahly has been winning this competition for so long. I don't think it is that difficult. But obviously, there are other areas that you must manage, other areas that you must also master. Things like dark arts of African football, which the North Africans have employed for the longest time. You know, time-wasting tactics, intimidation on officials, ball boys, I mean everyone, so they can have an advantage. And unfortunately for them, this time around, it has not been working. It didn't work against Stellis in Cairo. It didn't work against Orlando Pirates in Algeria. It certainly didn't work for a Mamelodi Sundowns in Tunisia. I mean, if you look at that game, Mamelodi Sundowns, Esperance in Tunisia, what a hostile environment. And then, I mean, it was interesting to see a banner where it was almost like they were insinuating that a Muti as South Africans will not get us anywhere. I think they had a banner that was saying, Tokoloshi, you can run, but you cannot hide. You finally come to a stop here in Tunisia, and we will kill you. What a way to create a hostile environment. And at least I can give North Africans that. They know how to make you feel that, you know what, this is not your home, and you will here living in a casket, in a coffin. And that's how they've mastered. But unfortunately for them, South African clubs, mentally, we can match all of what North Africans have been throwing at us. Ugly scenes after the Orlando Pirates MC Alger game. It's almost like when they lose a game, and these are North Africans, they must almost like sympathize with the fans who've traveled. That, you know what, we understand, we are not taking this loss lightly, and to demonstrate to you as the traveling fans that we're not taking this loss lightly, we are going to attack the officials, we are going to attack the opposition players. And that's exactly what they were doing against Orlando Pirates in Orlando Stadium. And honestly, for me, it is just nonsensical, it is just rubbish, it is just petty. I mean, a foreigner, why would a foreigner waste their 2 hours on 1 hour 30 minutes to watch a semi-final or the premium continental competition, if that's the type of nonsense North Africans are going to be selling? And South African clubs are sending a message to other parts of Africa, Central Africa, East Africa, West Africa, that they must wake up and smell the coffee. There is nothing to fear against North African side, whether Libya, Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco. Nothing to fear, nothing special about these sides, because on the field, honestly, they cannot match other parts of Africa. But what they will always do is target officials, target a certain player, target an official from the opposition bench. And unfortunately for them, it is not working. I don't want to get too excited because the competition is not yet over. Miguel Cardoso, psychologically, he actually played a very good man game against his former team. His former team fired him because, according to the fans and management, he was too defensive. After that first leg, this is what he said. He said, if you want to win this tie against Tunisia or Esperance, that is, you can't go to Tunis and defend or want to play for a draw. You must go there and want to play for a win, which was almost like surprising for these guys. It was like, no, we know you very well. We know that you're going to come to Tunis and pack the pass. We got to Tunis, and Miguel Cardoso played that game like the bigger boy. We didn't go there. We didn't pack a car, a bus, a train, a helicopter. But he went there and dominated the game. They took control. I mean, obviously, the first 2 minutes, there was that big chance. And you can be rest assured, if they had scored in that first minute or 90 seconds, it would have been incredibly difficult for Mamelodi Sundowns. But a great save from a big keeper, the reigning goalkeeper, CAF goalkeeper of the year in a Ronza Williams. And after that, 5-10 minutes, Mamelodi Sundowns took control of the game. I mean, these guys were chasing. Big up to that midfield three of Marcelo, 33-10, Amigo, Allende, Mukwena is a top-tier midfielder. The simplicity, simplifying all things, general, that is Jaden Adams. I mean, our fullbacks, my man of the match, I'll definitely give it to Marcelo Allende. I mean, the guy was everywhere. He reminded me of those cartoons. I'm just forgetting the name now. Is it Supersonic or what? I think I'll find the emoji of the guy was just everywhere. That is Marcelo Allende. Our fullbacks could probably must have the highest number out of 10 just after Allende. Maybe I'll give Allende a 9 out of 10, but these guys, Divine Lunga and Khuliso Mudawa, 8.6, 8.7 out of 10. I mean, these guys were incredible. The first half, it was Divine Lunga's first half in terms of fullbacks. The second half, it was Khuliso Mudawa's half, and they frustrated Jan Sasa, the Brazilian. He was pocketed by Khuliso Mudawa. Beliali, the Algerian legend, he was pocketed by a Divine Lunga. Krankekana and Suarez, they did okay, not outstanding, but they will also maybe deserve a 7 out of 10 or 7.3. Did a decent job, and I like how Williams commanded his box. And then you had a surprising feature in Atasales, who worked his socks off. Ribeiro, as much as sometimes he can frustrate majority of us with his selfishness, but on the day he worked his socks off in that he really assisted on the side of Khuliso Mudawa, and he was defending, something we have not seen from him. And Sales, with Sales starting, you have control. You're not going to lose the ball carelessly like you would with the Reyners and the Shalolile, who are not as technically gifted like a Sales or a Ribeiro. So we could manage to keep the ball with a Sales who is able to trap, pass, 10, and be actually a threat. And what you're going to get from Shalolile is defenders who are not going to be sleeping at work. Tugai and his partner, they were made to work. And Shalolile had a chance in the second half, was closer. But overall, no South African club should be complaining about Mamelodi Sundowns, Orlando Pirates, as to how they've managed to get to the semi-finals. They're in the semi-finals because they deserve to be there. It's interesting that on the side of Confed, the semi-finals, they are from 4 different nations: South Africa, Stellis, Tanzania, Simba, Constantine, Algeria, and Berkane is Morocco. Out of these four, probably the most favorite is Berkane. They're doing very well in their league. I think they're leading Botola 1 in Morocco. Constantine, they are a mid-table side basically. I think they are lying 10th position in the Algerian league, League 1. And then you have Simba who are leading. And then you have Estelis who are fighting for top 4, top 3 in South African Betway Premiership. What a time to be alive. And the sweetest thing that would happen for any football fan in Africa, outside North Africa, is to see Simba winning Confed or Stellies winning Confed. Or Orlando Pirates and Mamelodi Sundowns getting into the finals of CAF Champions League. It has never happened, and Orlando Pirates have a chance, but they've got the top 4 in CAF Champions League is tough. It is tough. It's going to be tough for Orlando Pirates. Pyramid FC are not a tough side. The only downside about the club is that they don't have fans. They don't have fans in Egypt, and unlike Zamalek and Al Ahly, while Orlando Pirates have got a massive following in South Africa, and at least with the two, we are guaranteed to have sides that are going to play football, not these anti-football tactics. Sundowns, Ahly, yet again, another match where everyone will be watching. And for me, my desire, my wish, my prayer is to see Orlando Pirates versus Mamelodi Sundowns CAF Champions League final. That would be sweet. Thank you guys for tuning in. You do support this channel by liking, by commenting, by sharing. It really helps the growth of this channel. What did you think about Confed and CAF Champions League? Fadlu Davids, if you're from Tanzania, big up to Simba. I wonder how the younger fans are feeling with the Simba getting into the semis of Confed. In South Africa, I don't know how Kaizer Chiefs fans are feeling, and who are they supporting now? And interesting times. Now, let me end it there by declaring, may my God bless you all.